Hey, Motorman here. If you're not familiar with this channel, maybe you just wandered here purely by accident. I'm a motor officer instructor, now retired. I'm the maker of the Ride Like a Pro video, and I'm the guy that teaches the police motor officer techniques to you, the average rider. I do that via my video and also these free videos I have on YouTube. There's over 1,000 of them, by the way, where I give tips, tricks, and techniques. I also do some road tests, and we talk about anything really motorcycle related. I do reviews, etc. And today I'm going to give you my list. I got the list right here. This is my list of 5 motorcycles I would love to own. Well, okay, this is in no particular order. This is just maybe what you might call my wish list. Could be yours as well. If you could think of 5 motorcycles that you don't already have that you'd like to have, put it in the comments below. I respect everybody's opinion. But number 1, what I'd like to have right now is a Triumph Street Scrambler. Now, they make 3 different models of the Scrambler, and the other 2, XT I think, and XCT or something like that, those are kind of expensive motorcycles, but the Street Scrambler is right around 11,000 bucks. I think I've had a couple of Bonnevilles in the past, and including the Bobber. They are just terrific motorcycles, especially for around town. It's not for touring, but they're a really fun bike to ride. They got plenty of power. And around here, we have a lot of dirt roads that I'd love to explore. Now, I know some people take heavyweight Harley Davidsons and they go off-roading with them. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not designed for that. They're street bikes. That's what they should be. But the Triumph Street Scrambler, it's got enough clearance. It's got the high muffler. It looks great. I love the looks of that. And it's plenty for the type of riding I would do off-road here, which is not in sugar sand. Because unless you're an expert on off-road, you don't want to ride in sugar sand unless you got, you know, a 300-pound motorcycle. But that's one of the bikes I would like to have. And another one I would really like to have, unfortunately, it's at this point not going to be available in the United States, but that's the new Honda CL500, which is also a Scrambler. In fact, it would probably, I'm guessing somewhere around $6,000 for that bike, maybe $6,500. But that would actually be my preference even over the Triumph Scrambler because it's a little bit less money. A 500cc bike is lighter, a little bit better for the off-roading that I would do, which is, you know, packed dirt and lime rock road, stuff like that. That would be a better choice for me. If they bring that bike to this country, I am going to buy one of those. So, by the way, there's the classic is the CL350 or 360. They made several versions of these back in the 70s. In fact, every Japanese manufacturer had a Scrambler version of their motorcycles. We did something up in Ohio where they have these old motorcycle races, and they have a giant flea market, and I never knew there was so many Scrambler motorcycles made during the 60s and the 70s, but every one of them, they had a couple of hundred different models there, all restored, parts, etc. But if I had my druthers, I would get probably maybe about a 74 or 75 CL350 or 360. In fact, I would probably like to have that over the new CL500 just because I like the way it looks. Next, and you know there had to be a Harley on this list, a Harley that I don't already have. The one I would like to have is the Sportster S. And when I say I'd like to have it, you know, if money was no object, I would have all these bikes and probably some more. But, you know, marriage gets in the way. My wife, I know you've seen her on the videos, she's very sweet. But every time I buy a motorcycle, I get a face job like you wouldn't believe. And it lasts for a long time. It's like at least a week. Every time I look at her, I see that face. And it's, anyway, Sportster S. I like that motorcycle. I love the way it looks. I've taken some short rides on them, done reviews on them, but I would really like to have a Sportster S for at least a month to ride around. It's a great around town motorcycle, got all kinds of power. I think it's like 125 horsepower. It only weighs about 550 pounds, so it's plenty fast, handles really good, and I love the way it looks. So, by the way, Harley Davidson, if you're watching this, I wouldn't mind having a Sportster S for at least a month to really, really put it through its paces. Next, and you're going to be surprised about this, but I'd love to have a new Goldwing. I like the styling of those new Goldwings. They look really good. And, you know, I know it's sort of a space age sort of look to that motorcycle. And I've had 2 or 3 Goldwings in the past. I think I had a 2001, a 2004, and a 2006. Why I sold them, etc., is usually to make room for something else. But Gold Wings are excellent motorcycles. Now, I don't know if I would get a DCT or the manual transmission. I like the manual transmission bikes better, but I also would like to get really good at using the automatic transmission motorcycles, which are kind of difficult to ride because you got to find that sweet spot between throttle and a little bit of rear brake on those, and it's one of the toughest bikes to ride at low speeds. I've even done a video about that, the top 5 most difficult bikes to ride at low speeds. Of course, there's always some kind of controversy about that. But anyway, I would love to have a new Goldwing. In fact, I've heard some rumors that they may cancel the Goldwing or at least the manual transmission model. So this will probably be 2023, the year to get it if you can find one. I don't particularly like the one with the tour pack on the back. I'd rather have the standard Goldwing. It just looks so much better without that. And they're very fast motorcycles, smooth, dependable. You cannot beat them. And here's another one on my list that might surprise you, but I love the BMW 1600B. That's the bagger version of the 1600 models, 6-cylinder, 160 horsepower. I think they're a beautiful bike to look at, and I've ridden them. Great riding motorcycle. It possibly might even be smoother, if that's possible, than the Goldwing, but you don't even know the thing is running. They handle beautifully. They got a great lean angle. It's another bike to, at low speeds, is kind of difficult because the throttle is very touchy, and so is the brake. When you apply a little bit of brake, sometimes it gives you more brake than you thought it would. But it would take me on either the Goldwing or a DCT or the BMW 6. I probably have to practice for about 8 hours to get as good as I am on the Harley Davidson motorcycles. But I'd love to get on that BMW 1600B and just do a 500-mile day, maybe head up to the Smoky Mountains and back. One of these days I'm going to head out to Sturgis. I probably won't go during the rally because I've seen everything that you could see at rallies. I've been to a bunch of them. I'd like to go there when there's not very much traffic. But anyway, that's my list. We start with a Triumph Street Scrambler. Between that and the Honda CL 500, which is the new Scrambler that they're selling, I guess, in Europe and India and other places, but so far they claim they're not going to be bringing that bike here. I'd love to have the Sportster S. Just love the looks of that bike. I like the way it rides. I'd just like to spend some more time on it. And of course, if I could own it, I'd spend as much time as possible. So Goldwing and also a BMW 1600B. Those are on my wish list. And, you know, if money was no object, I'd have all of those bikes. I've got a 3-car garage here where I keep the motorcycles. I have a 2-car garage on the other side of the house, but this is the side I keep the bikes. And if I wanted to put, I could probably get 3 in a row in line and fit, 3, 6, 9, 12, at least 25 bikes in this garage. It would be crowded. But, you know, if money was no object, that's what I'd do. So what do you think? What's your list?